Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Thursday night. I'm Gary Garcia from the Philippines, and we have
Eric from South Korea.
And I'm
and
Rolf out of Bangkok.
hi, good evening to everyone. So tonight's episode is entitled Sharing because since it's the Christmas season, it's time for giving, sharing
Yeah, yeah.
something. So since it's about Google Educator Group and we are here to share what we know and what we love, we will be sharing things that we use inside the classroom and things that we know that will be useful for you. So I will start with my favorite, the one that I use for my Google Innovator application, how to cite sources. So let me have my document ready first. Okay, let me create a new document. Before I share my screen, let me have the document first. Okay,
Mm.
so let me share my screen. Okay, share screen and then
I love
yeah,
screen sharing.
share screen application window. Wait, where is that? Okay, let me have it here. Hmm. Okay. Oops.
Hmm.
Wait. You know, things happen in your life. Okay, let me share this one. Where's that one? Hmm. So what I'm going to share is basically how to cite sources using Google Docs. So most of the students doesn't know, well, doesn't know how to cite their sources. So what I'm going to do is cite. How can you easily cite sources? For example, you're using Google Docs. Usually, we create a new tab to research on something, but you don't have to go to another tab, open another tab or another window to search for something. You can do it inside Google Docs. All you need to do is click Tools and then you go to Explorer. For example, you want to search about the
Share the
definition.
document with us. Share the document.
Oh, I haven't shared a document.
No, I
Can you
just
see
want to
my
mess
screen
with
now?
you and write stuff. Yes, we can. We can see the screen.
Okay. Oh, I thought you can't see my screen. I'll share the document later. Okay. So as I was saying, so you click on Tools and then click on Explore, and then there's another on the right side a pane for Explore, wherein you can type what you want to share. For example, Heaven's grocery store. So this is a story wherein I use this story um, to teach paint format. So another tool in Google Docs. So for example, I'd like to get text from this side. So all I need to do is click that link, and a new tab will be open for me. So what I need to do now is read the article. So let's say I want to copy and paste this one. So the students usually just copy paste without citing their source. So they let's go back to the document and paste it. Okay, so since the color of the text is not black, so we can change it to black. And let me change it to size 14 and put it as Comic Sans, for example. Now, to cite source, so basically, if we want to cite this one, we need to put the cursor at the end of the word. So in this case, the title. Well, so let me make it the title. So all I need to do is the first step to cite it properly is to move the cursor at the end of the word where you want to put the superscript and then identify the format by clicking the three dots on the Explore pane and select citation format. In the Philippines, we usually use APA format. And since the article, this text came from this link, all I need to do is click the Cite as footnote. If you notice, it will only appear when you move your mouse pointer on that particular text. So before I click that one, I'll show you the footer, the end of the document. There's nothing in there. But if I click This one now, look what will happen. Ta-da, there's a superscript, and at the bottom of the screen, I have cited it properly.
Hmm.
So that's how easy it is to cite source. So there are only three steps. Click Tools and then Explore. You type your topic and then select, oh, well, there are five, and then select citation format. And then to cite it, just click Cite as Footnote. That's how easy it is to cite source. So
Wow, that's very cool.
very, very easy. But not
And
everyone knows
that
how to do
was
it.
the explore button, yeah?
Yes, from the Explore button within Google Docs. It's not an add-on. It's a built-in feature in Google
Okay.
Docs.
That's
I have
interesting.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Do you guys know if it is possible in schools to disable the spell check, spell and grammar check?
That's a good question. I can
Hmm.
see why you might want to, because sometimes there you might be doing some kind of spelling test.
So you can lock down the Chromebook with Google Forms or
Mhm.
any computer. I don't know how it works with other computers, but with Chromebooks you can lock down the whole machine in forms, and forms don't. You can set in the forms that in the form fields the spell
Mhm.
check doesn't work. I figured that
Mhm.
much, but I haven't figured there are scripts on Stack, I believe, which
Mhm.
can run domain wise and which can enable that, but I haven't found
Uh-huh.
any Google domain feature like that. So
Okay.
that is a question I'm putting out there. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody who's watching, or
I'm not aware of that. But what I know is during quizzes, you can lock what students can visit if you're using Chromebooks and
well,
Google Forms, right?
with
And
forms, or
if
you
you
can
have
lock down the internet in terms of the allow list would be the best one if you just
Mm.
allow websites.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, then
the spell
you
check.
have a very limited research capability if you uh, only allow certain websites, even if the list is very long. Yeah, you run.
Do you know if you can disable Explorer in
Oh,
that in the Chrome
Uh,
settings?
yeah, maybe
what
with
do
I
you
don't
mean?
know. Maybe in the
In
admin
the
console.
Explore function.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure of it, but I don't know. I'm not an admin. Maybe I
Well,
will study that one.
yeah, I have the admin certification, and I looked and I read in the help forum that it seems not possible, but I'm a bit stuck.
Really? Very
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting.
I switched off in our school Grammarly,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
even though I am not completely against switching it off.
Yeah.
I think that especially in higher grades, we need, as tech integrators, we need to educate our students how to use these extensions meaningfully so they also improve their own language ability with them.
Well, I think there's another side of that is that if they use Grammarly in their graded work, it's not that like I personally don't uh, unless I'm teaching grammar, which I don't focus on in my teaching it in my classes, then I don't think I should be grading it. But I should see it. I should see what their level is because if there's an issue, then if you use Grammarly to fix it, then I can't say, hey, here's how it really works. So it
Yeah,
might have even been in here that somebody mentioned that when somebody uses Grammarly over and over and it solves the same problems over and over, then they actually might learn over time and not
if
need it as much.
if you consciously take every suggestion as
Hmm.
like if you take it in your heart and try to learn what
Right.
you did wrong.
If, yeah.
I mean, spelling mistakes are only one part of it, and in our school we only had the free version anyhow, which
Hmm.
is spelling mostly and a few of grammar and
Yeah.
punctuation. But the big grammar AI is not working there in the background when you
Hmm.
don't have the full version.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Don't block educate. I like that very much, Seti. I think the same. It seems though that the people who are in the charge of the literacy in our school were pretty unanimous in their choice, yeah, for switching it off.
Mm.
And if I have Grammarly, I would hopefully educate students how to use the pro version, even though it was $11 per month, pretty pricey.
Yeah, that is pretty. But you know, if you do a lot of writing and you need it, then it makes sense.
And if you want to pull up Seti's comment maybe on the screen, he
Oh
says
yeah.
that Explore cannot be disabled, and I
Really, I
think
don't see
it
that.
only makes sense
Oh,
that
there we go.
the spelling can't either. But I wonder what Seti says to it. If obviously, yeah, you can switch off the extensions, but you can't switch off the spell grammar
The
check
core
in.
uh, feature. Okay,
Yeah.
another comment from
Here's the
Seti.
thing. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. It depends on whether they're on your side or not. If they want you to see their screen, if they want you to see what they're doing, then of course. But if they don't, then it's I don't have great confidence that everybody's gonna see, and I don't like the cat and mouse game.
Well, let me quickly say one thing about language learning and literacy skills in tech teaching. The beauty is that we all use language as a method of how we converse, and not only language, all the other media as well. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, many have the approach that language arts is a different thing, but language as English as a second language isn't even taught in international schools, so it doesn't necessarily need to be taught in other public schools if you have enough exposure for the student in basic English where they are even engaged, and then they even forget that they make past tense sentences correctly, or I don't know, use a passive correctly, or
Another comment from Seti.
I hear
It's
you.
important to build relationships.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to say, like, there are a lot of things that go into that. I mean, in Korea, the academic pressure is so high
Yeah.
that you know, when under pressure, then it can change a lot of things. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah,
The
I mean,
authentic learning cannot happen if there are pressure around
but
the
it's,
students.
it's such a weird
Yeah.
thing, even though that the learning doesn't make them into creative, confident people. There, many become at least principled and hard workers.
Mm,
We have a few Korean students at our school, and they're all above average, all of them.
hmm yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's not that I mean it's just I've been teaching here for a while, and it's certainly not. I mean they're all different kinds of people with all different levels of ethics, but um yeah, it's you see a lot of people who will cheat, and they will deny no matter how obvious it is. Not a lot in every class or every year, but over the years. And yeah, I don't know.
I think it's because of the priority. If there's too much pressure on the part of the student, they will do something that they don't like, but because they want to get high grades, so
Yeah, I mean
there's a
here,
pressure. It
if you
depends
make
on
it,
the teacher.
yeah, if you make it into one of the top three universities, no matter how you get there, then things are a certain way for your whole life. And if you don't, then it's not that things are necessarily going to be bad, but they're going to be a very different category. And yeah, I don't know. It's a tough situation.
Well, that
Um,
system in itself, it shouldn't be like that.
you're
Yeah.
totally right, completely right. Yeah.
And are these universities state universities or public universities? Or?
The top, I don't really know. I know which ones they are, but I don't know their status as state or public. They're
And are they
elite.
all in Seoul or?
They have branches around, but yeah, they main branches I presume are in Seoul.
Oh yeah, tough topic. I mean, education
Because it's the same
changes a lot.
case here in the Philippines. There's not so much pressure on the part of the student, but they need to go to that school because when you graduate college from that school, it means something. Because
Yeah.
of what I know, there are countries wherein they will only select or employ. There are countries there are foreign corporate uh, uh, employment for students they will only employ students or graduate from the Philippines if they came from these top
Yeah.
universities.
Yeah.
So students will do their best just to be in and be able to graduate on that particular university. These colleges and universities,
I mean, this is
whatever it
also
takes.
uh, responsibility of some of these human resource officers, which I don't know in which job you want to have only these people.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That as a human resource officer, that you choose by which university they graduate from.
Mm.
Yes, they come with a certain skill set, but I don't know.
It
It's
depends. Yeah, some societies are it's status. Like you got indicators of status, and even if the person is not as skilled as someone from another university, then if you've got
Mm.
enough people from these universities, then that reflects well on your whole company. And
and
so,
and in some countries, if you are of status and you don't go to these universities, then everybody seems to be like, why didn't you do that? Like
mm,
you have
Mm.
the
Yeah.
means, so
yeah.
you didn't choose to have a better education. It seems, but I
Well,
mean,
there's the I can't remember the name of it. Some I was reading in a book of um, fallacies, logical problems, and it was the question is whether Harvard makes people smart or whether smart people go to Harvard. It's it's very likely that Harvard could probably do quite well with very low quality of instruction, and the people who graduated under those circumstances would still, if because right now they are the go-to place for the top people. They can get the cream of the crop, and those people certainly aren't going to get less capable or less intelligent going through Harvard, no matter what happens in there. So, so yeah, sometimes it's the chicken or an egg thing. Not to say that they do have poor quality of education, but you just can't assume that logically because
Yeah.
everybody who comes out of it is more likely to be intelligent and successful.
And
but there are
successful.
for
Yeah.
sure situations or setups where people would argue that a university breaks your spirit or breaks your freedom of thinking, especially
Mm,
if a lecturer doesn't is not necessarily. It depends on the field or the studies, yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Seth, he was pointing out that that there's so many places now that they don't require degrees. They don't need, and we need that needs to change. Like seriously, if
Yeah.
we can go by ability, then that makes more sense.
yeah, it's a difficult thing to evaluate those abilities. However,
Hmm.
again, um,
Yeah. So they're looking for indicators.
Yeah.
You know,
Basically, when you graduate, that's one indicator.
can we quickly slack off standardized testing?
yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say
sure.
like I was just reading this great quote. And it's probably super common. A friend of mine had mentioned it before, and I'd like forgotten it, and then I ran across it somewhere. Um, when a metric becomes a target, then it ceases to be a good metric, and that's what standardized testing is. It's a metric that's supposed to show progress. It's supposed to show ability between people, so you can compare. But then people make that a target, okay, and then the test becomes not knowledge, understanding, awareness, ability. It becomes making that score on that test, and then when people teach to the test and when people will learn to the test, then it ceases to be a valid and useful measure.
Well, dear Gary, I
Yes.
wish for you to share my screen.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Which one? Anyway, okay.
And
Okay.
there we see. Can you see
Yeah.
my screen?
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, it says in the speech bubble for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam, which is standardized testing.
Oh,
Please climb that tree. And
mhm.
you see that the ape is quite happy, but the fish has an open mouth.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Think I know this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a point there.
Yep.
And
Okay.
because I am just sharing the screen, I want to. Uh, I think you have seen this as well.
It makes me think of this too. Yeah.
What the difference between equality and equity is,
Uh-huh.
and I think this picture makes it very clear in what way we need to support our students in different ways.
Mm,
Yeah, these are the two slides I want to show. Most teachers might have seen that
mm.
already,
Oh,
and I have also prepared on a more happier note because that's we can continue right afterwards.
yeah.
But should I go and share what I have prepared?
You
Go
have
ahead,
something?
go
Sure.
ahead. 'Cause-
Okay.
But before you can, I would like to say something about the first slide, the Cora, the fish, about that one.
Mm,
Recently, I think less than 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure if you're aware of PISA. PISA is the Program for International Student Assessment, wherein I think most of the Asian countries participated, and one of the participants, one country, well, Philippines participated in that particular evaluation or assessment. And what happened to educators from the Philippines reacted because the Philippines is, I think, the last or second to the last country who performed poorly on that
mm,
particular assessment. And we're saying that because there's a different way of teaching here in the Philippines. I don't know if, well, there are a lot of conversation about it in Facebook and other social media site, but we know that there are things that we can improve on. But we cannot be, our students cannot be tested in the way that they don't know how.
it's
Well,
unfamiliar.
it's a different standard.
Hmm.
They have a different standard. So it was not made by by Filipino teachers or
Hmm.
educators from the Philippines.
Mm.
That is why, for sure, um, uh, students from the Philippines will most probably fail the assessment.
Hmm.
So that's what I remember when Ralph showed the the story about
So
climbing the
the
tree.
PISA is an abbreviation for Program for International Student Assessment, and
Yes.
it's part of the OECD.
Yeah.
And I think the best country have always been the Nordic countries, Finland on top,
Mm.
Yeah.
and Germany also ranked in the double digits, I believe. And I do understand only partially what you mean. Maybe you can say what you think are the reasons in the Philippines why they ranked so badly there, and in what ways did the studies of the PISA, what did they say, in what ways would improve?
Okay. There are policies in the, especially in the public schools, that no one should be left behind. That's one policy. So if you fail a student, it will reflect on the teacher that you're not doing your best,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Well, teachers can do something for the student, but as teachers, we can only do so much. There's a
Yeah.
limitation. That's why. That's one factor. That's just one factor. Another thing is there are schools who doesn't have any good resources for the library,
Hmm.
reading materials. It depends on the location of the school
Mm-hmm.
to say that you have good resources or you don't have good resources. I'm not sure if you've seen some public schools here in the Philippines wherein they only have roof, they don't have walls.
Hmm.
How can you expect them to have a
A
library?
library. Yeah.
So
Well, that would affect
when
things.
there are several factors. Right? Another thing is, well, to teach students better, we need to have better PD for public school teachers.
Hmm.
So these are some of the arguments that public school teachers are telling when the result of the PISA came out less than 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
there are
So
a lot of
at
factors.
first I thought maybe because sometimes there's a test that depending on your culture, then you may do well or not. And so that
Yeah.
I thought that you were saying that was entirely it. But also, like, let's say that there's a certain factor, a certain amount of that is due to culture difference. But then you're also saying it might actually be accurate, but reflective of conditions that are beyond your control. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yes. So those are the things that affects the student's
Hmm.
performance.
Yeah.
And some students need to walk for 2 hours
Wow.
before
Yeah.
before they reach schools.
Wow.
So take
Yeah.
note of the energy that they exerted before they can listen to the teacher.
Sure. Yeah.
So the quality of the status, the mindset of the student when they come to school.
Hmm.
Some are, well, I'm talking about the public school students because most of the respondents to this PISA are from public schools.
Hmm.
But if I don't know how many private schools participated, I don't have any data about it.
Hmm.
But if private schools participated, I don't think we will be on that rank. I think it's the lowest.
Hmm.
So there are several factors.
Yeah, if schools and teachers do things which are not student centered, then something is wrong.
Yeah.
That's all. Correct.
But many systems are sadly set up in a way of putting too much pressure on the teachers. Some don't give
Mhm.
enough guidance.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's too much guidance. Sometimes there's too much prohibited, no exploration allowed.
Some comments from the public school teachers is let us do our work.
Hmm.
Give us less paperwork
Hmm. Yeah.
because there's so much expected from teachers to create so many reports and they don't have enough time to prepare to teach their students.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always feel very bad if I take a lot of effort in the marking process of any paper and then
Mhm.
I don't actually take the time with the student to work
To
through
teach.
that. Yeah, to make sure that, hey, do you understand why there
Yeah, the
needs to be a comma
conversation.
there, or
Yeah.
why this tense is
Mhm.
wrong, or if you put another word there, why the whole text becomes more meaningful. Or,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I mean, it
Correct.
takes time. Luckily now I'm at a very tiny school where class sizes are amazing,
Hmm. Cool.
where you can do things like that, and still I fail doing them on a regular good basis. But we all improve each other by reflecting, and if you are not led to, mm, if you don't even have the time to reflect, or if you are not given any tools from your administration to help you become a better teacher, and then yeah, I see that. But it must be, I mean, it must feel horrible if like the whole public school system is declared an F. That doesn't
Hmm.
feel nice.
Not really all, because there are some public schools. As I mentioned earlier, it depends on the location. If you're in the
Mm,
city and you're a public school, you have good funding. You even
Hmm.
we even have a science high school, which are very which are performing very well.
Mm.
But if you are in the city, if your location is in a city, but it's not always the case. There are public schools, so it's not equal basically. They don't
Oh
have
yeah.
the resources. So that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Anyway, so would you
My
like to share
screen.
your screen now?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Go ahead. What's this?
So
Santa Tracker.
there have been. I don't
Woohoo.
know if I should unmute this or not. Can you hear that now? Or so there's
Earlier,
music playing
there's a sound.
in the
Oh, yeah.
background, but I will mute it. It distracts me.
Okay.
So this is Tracker, and this
Mhm.
is one of the many efforts to make coding more tasty, I would say.
Mm.
And if you press the play button, here's a nice countdown for Christmas.
Okay.
And I haven't clicked on the Elf Glider. Let's see what happens here. I clicked on Elf Glider, and it says I
Oh,
have to
it's a
go
game.
left or right. And
Oh, there you go.
so I am dropping presents, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure what I
Ah,
have to
I
do.
remember last week you mentioned that. Oh, I don't know who mentioned that. That the first level is always orienting the users on how to use the control.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who said that? I don't know. So
I it was mentioned last time. Yeah.
I don't know when this game finishes, or at the moment I'm trying to
Probably
figure
eternal.
out. No,
Mm.
there's a timer in the top. It says 30
Ah, I
seconds.
see.
Oh, where?
I don't know if
Oh,
we can wait that long, but I guess that afterwards we have to play a little coding example or something. I'm not sure.
hmm.
So I'm not
Huh.
sure. Let's wait
So
10 more seconds.
So it's Santa tracking and coding?
Yes,
Okay.
he's
Oh,
tracking.
interesting.
Okay, I don't know. 2 more seconds, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
and
there you go.
now
Oh,
I don't know. I have two more other games here, and that was now not with coding, weirdly enough.
Hmm.
So I go to the menu, and I think SETI had the chance to do this in class. So I played a bit before, but
Oh,
here you
what's that?
see it's for
Okay.
every day. I think it's like an advent calendar. Do you know?
Yeah.
And I played a few which had coding here,
Okay.
and I don't know if they get a bit more difficult. Obviously, this is more for
hmm.
kindergarten or primary now.
Um,
But after I have done these two challenges, which are very basic, and this teaches me actually how you rightfully
You're
said,
supposed
Mike,
to.
how
Yeah,
you navigate the game. Yeah, here you
yeah,
learn
yeah.
how to navigate the Scratch function, the block-based programming. Yeah, that the blocks stick
uh-huh.
together.
Yeah.
And here you have your first
Oh.
more kind of
Mm-hmm.
programming. Um, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
end, you can even see the code in JavaScript.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all block based. Um, can we
Okay,
say
there you go.
languages? Or not?
Santa. Okay, go move forward. There.
Yeah, and look at the code. Only three commands, but still.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay. Let
Cool.
me let me do one more, and then I'll finish. How many times do I have to do it?
5.
5 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct.
Okay. And probably the next thing will be a loop, exactly. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then any by just playing. Yeah, that is a big jump, I think. But
It
fair enough.
is pretty big. But I guess I don't expect you to. That's exposure, starting with exposure.
Yeah,
Can
exposure.
you read this for us, Eric, or should I
Well, let me
try?
give it a shot. So it's
Mm.
setting the variable I to 0, and then it's saying that as long as I is less than 5, then the loop keeps going, and then every time it goes through the loop, it adds 1 to I.
So what
Correct.
took me a long time is this these are, how do you call this, 3 arguments? Is
Uh-huh.
Arguments, yes, the
yeah.
arguments.
So these 3 arguments, they are processed in a certain way, and funnily enough, is even though that this context of this curly brackets here
Mhm.
is after the I plus plus, it gets executed before I is actually added to the variable, before 1 is added to I as variable, if
Well,
I'm correct,
yeah, it's
Eric?
interesting. Yeah, because it sets it to 0 first, and then it doesn't set it to 0 again every time. So it like does that one only once,
Yeah.
and then the middle one is continuously checking, and then the last one happens every single time.
But that happens after moving north.
After you,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
After
sorry,
moving north.
almost every single time. Yeah. So it's
but
like
after,
for the first run, it's the first argument and the second only.
yes. And then after
then-
executing the
then-
move north, that's the only time to perform the third argument.
Yeah, after this is performed, I is added. The
Yeah.
third argument is done after the loop has finished, or
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm very proud that I have understood that, because it was really yeah, okay. I don't want to. Oh, I need to go 1 first. See, this would be great if I could just throw it at you guys. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, I think.
So
4
you're right.
and then turn left, and then 1 and then turn left, and then 4 again.
We can do this. Oh, 2 times, and what? 4 again, or is it 5?
4 east, turn left, 4 turn left.
Like
Okay, go ahead.
1, 2. Might need to go north 1, 2, 3 times.
Oh no.
1, 2, 3, 4. Turn left.
1, 2, 3. I think you need. Oh no.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Have you figured?
Yes.
Oh, I'm doing it already. And 1 north. Is it correct?
Not really. Go ahead. You have to run it so you know what's wrong
Looks
with
like it
the
might
code.
work to me. Let's see it. Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Good.
hey, look at that code now. I am already jumping away from that. Really.
Mhm.
It is basically only 3 loops, but reading this to make sense in your head, I'm really. It's not easy for me, to be honest.
I hear
Well,
you.
that's the way to understand the language. Basically.
Yeah. But it's amazing how blocked coding makes so much fun.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is after a very, very, very simple introduction. I don't know if many of those games are connected to coding. I believe not all of
Yes.
them.
Yes. I don't know if you're aware of code.org.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to that one. So that's how
Okay.
they introduce coding, programming to first timers.
Well,
So
last week was week of the hour of code. Yeah, from the 5th
yeah,
December onwards. Yeah,
Mm.
have you done
yeah.
anything at your school?
Not really because
No.
it's their final exams.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Same here. Yeah.
so we can't do coding this time.
Oh my
But
God, they're playing music here. Very nice. Oh, look at this. I don't I don't know what the objective
by
is
the way, I
here.
have a question pop up while you're doing that route. Have any one of you tried Arduino or Microbit?
I feel like the guys were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I'd like to
I
see something concrete
have
like what Ralph did tonight.
yeah.
I want to see a
With
demo on that one.
with the microbit,
or Mickey Mickey. These are the things that I saw.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff which I didn't have enough time to play around with, but it seemed you hit the roof pretty quickly with Microbit.
Hmm.
And I even bought a little robot, but it took me too much tinkering for myself to figure out.
I
Okay,
am
so
so interested
I
to
just
learn this one.
but the Microbit is really not expensive, and I think the approach the makers of Microbit have is that yeah, every student should have one,
Yeah,
or at
that
least
was suggested by Davis Abbas. He suggested
Microbit.
making yeah microbit.
Hmm.
Makey Makey, yeah, it was Makey
Oh
Makey.
yeah.
It's like a controller,
Mhm. So I just want
um,
to see how
but
it's done.
I mean, for university, I think you need to go to Arduino, yeah, and projects.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hard to. Okay, I'm so interested. I saw some kids doing that, but haven't really learned it by myself. Firsthand, I haven't really explored it. So I am planning to explore that one soon, very soon. Maybe this Christmas break.
yeah. Okay, so Arduino is more university like,
Yeah. So that
but
is why David
I'm not
suggested
sure if
the
Seti.
microbit.
Please check the comments. I'm not sure what Seti says in the. Oh no, he's not
He
What?
hasn't
doing
said
it.
anything in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Most
sure that
probably he was a Robo. What's that? Robo Mojo? I don't know. The one designed for kids. He also knows something. Something designed for kids.
I mean
Programming for
there
kids.
are
Hmm.
so many robots
Yeah.
there,
Mm.
Yeah.
but he likes Bebots a lot, which do
Hmm.
turtle.
Teapots.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, how about you, Eric? What do you like to share with us now? Since
Well,
it's time for sharing.
I already asked Gary. I don't remember. Did I ask you, Ralph? Have you used Zapier before?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I
Um,
I I have heard it but never used it.
yeah, it's like if this then that, which is a free version, but I don't know. I ran into some trouble with a Google connection. There's a limited functionality. Let me see. I'll share my screen. And
Yeah, I have never used if then that.
yeah,
What's the use of that?
well,
It,
so both of them they connect different services, and they so here's an example. So I search for an app, and I'll say Google Sheets, and then I search for another one. So it could be something unrelated, like it could be Slack, it could be Mailchimp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't have to be a Google product.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so yeah, I haven't done Slack before. Well, let me see. So new or updated spreadsheet row. So I'm gonna have some spreadsheet, and when there's a change made, then send a message to me. So it will just automatically message me or probably somebody else that I specify. So this is an existing Zap is what they call their little jobs, and so then, and how likely? Look, how likely would you? I would 10 because I'm recommending it to you guys. So you say what's going to happen. First off, I connect my account, and then so I have to identify a spreadsheet, and it's going to look through the ones that I have available, and pick the worksheet, sheet one, and trigger column. So this is just going straight to whatever exists there, and then it's going to ask me to connect. This is interesting. I don't even know if I have a Slack account in this account, but basically it's going to check and see. So you just check and see if it just leads you through to see if it can recognize a new row, and then it'll connect me to Slack, and then it just makes the connection from then on. Whenever there's a change in that particular spreadsheet that you specify.
And dear Eric, that is awesome that you can use Slack and Sheets.
Hmm.
I really haven't used if then that then if this then
Yes,
that. I haven't
this is
used it recently.
this is
But
quite a lot like it. What's
is
that?
do you have a limited amount of notifications or
Well, if this then that, if I remember right, that's IFTT. This then that. If IFTTT, then
yeah?
I think that is free all the way. Zapier, there is a limit, and it doesn't take too long before you hit it. But if you just have a couple spreadsheets that you want to get notifications for, then you're okay.
And you don't pay for it.
No, I'm still using it free, and I just had, it alerted me a lot of times to a spreadsheet that I set up. Basically, it was attached to a form, so whenever there
Well,
was
I
another,
think you're really trying to promote them very well. So maybe they should reach out to you.
yeah, you never can tell. Yeah, uh, I checked it out because I wanted to do it for maybe for a summit, a Google summit, and it was so easy. Like it's just you couldn't do a session on it. It's just, but it would be fine as a collection of things.
That is not true. I mean, you can, for example, show how you can set it up for students to learn something in the classroom
true.
and then make it an activity. And I've seen pretty amazing demonstrations of very, very simple things.
I hear
Which
you.
sometimes,
Yeah. I mean, sure. There was like between the two of them, both of these, I had some trouble at that time, and it might be fixed now. But for IFTT, these are all these functions that
Mhm.
that appear to be available, connections that people have already set up. But between that and Zapier, I felt like I would have needed more. It wasn't a big enough bite. But who knows? I might end up doing it sometime. But it was my first session, and I wanted to do something I was really familiar with. So I actually thought about connecting Classwork Zoom to this. It seems like you could find a way to connect it in a useful way. I hadn't really
Please
settled on it.
elaborate.
Well, you're connecting to all these different services, and so maybe when you could, if I don't know what's possible on the Google end, but you might say, if everybody in their class in a Google Classroom turns in the assignment, then prompt you to like send you a message to that'll open up Classwork Zoom, something like that. Yeah, just some kind of notification, or maybe something that would prompt Classwork Zoom to run automatically under certain circumstances, and then just send you a link to the completed timeline. While I'm talking about that, well, two things. One, I didn't go all the way through setting up a spreadsheet because, I just didn't for the sample thing that I was showing you on Zapier a second ago. But while I was looking at that and thinking about it, then I remembered Mailinator. Do you know Mailinator.com?
No.
Sometimes you need to. It's handy to enter an email address, but you don't really want to get junk mail. But it will send you whatever service you are looking at will send you some kind of verification email. And so Mailinator.com, you just make up anything for a Mailinator.com mailbox, and it doesn't matter if it exists already. So basically, I typed it a while ago, JB. So I just made that up. I don't, it doesn't mean anything. And so I would tell them, my email address is jb@mailinator.com. And so it says, before I put anything, it says enter public Mailinator inbox. So I go to JB, and anybody can type this. I'm not doing a password or anything. And so a lot of people probably whose names are JB, their initials are JB, have entered this as their address. And so I could get this. So could, anybody, but nobody cares. This is for things that you don't really need. So Joe Bryant did this, and who else? I don't know. But so for example, I can just type random characters, and then this is my inbox. I can say I'm at mailinator.com, and the emails will come here, and it doesn't matter if I forget it, in a minute or two, I still get to use it until the verification email comes. It's pretty convenient.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah. So back to the classwork
I
Zoom
explain
thing.
again. Please explain again why.
Sure.
Why would
Well,
I?
because sometimes a site requires an email address, and it's not a
Yeah.
site you plan to go back to again,
Oh,
or the
okay.
email address isn't your user ID, and so it's like for a low commitment sign up,
Mm-hmm.
because you know that you want to check something out, but you don't want to get
If
a
you
lot of
don't
junk
want to
mail.
use,
Okay.
if you
Okay.
don't want to use your personal or other accounts,
Exactly.
your official
Exactly.
accounts or business
Yeah.
account,
If you
so
if you
make
if
use of that
you're
one.
suspicious that you're going to get spammed, then you can just use
Yeah.
this instead.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can see
Okay.
some people messing this up though.
Yeah. How's that?
Yeah, by getting private information sent to Medinator.
Yeah,
Aha.
that would be
That
a
is
bad
why you
idea.
don't
You wouldn't
you
want to do
don't
it
use
for
it.
signing into the Social Security Administration or something like that. You wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do that. Yeah. So, okay. So now let's look at Classwork Zoom, which I said I was looking at connecting it to Zapier. So the reason I could do that is because I'm the owner and designer of Classwork Zoom. Oh, that's Classroom, Classwork. And so that's me right there, which is there we go, founder and teacher, and I designed this because the revision history of Google Docs is so hard to go through bit by bit, student by student, and so here I've just chosen a sample class as a fake class with fake students and real assignments. It's just the names have changed. And so for each student, for the whole class, you get information about work that they did on their Google Classroom assignments. So I selected this one assignment, the first draft of this script, and they attached multiple things to that assignment. And I can see that, for example, this student spent 3.5 hours on this document, and they spent a half an hour on that document, an hour, 3 hours and 20 minutes. So you can get an overview there. You can also see when they're working, what time and date, and you can hover to get comments just to see what's there. And here you can get an overview of the percentage of editing done by each student. So this is percentage of keystrokes, and here is the amount of time
Is
that they
that a
spent.
new view?
No, actually, yeah. This is if you just click over here with the when it's an assignment that whether they were assigned it as a group or whether someone else edited, even though they weren't supposed to, then you'll see this little icon here, and when you see that, then you can click and see the percentage of work done by each person.
For group work. I haven't
Exactly.
used it like that. I believe.
Exactly.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that you could do that.
Yeah. If you
Wow.
so this one has a deleted user, so it's a student that was there, and so I just you can click to approve somebody. So right now I clicked, and so this person isn't approved. It's a deleted user, so the system doesn't know whether it was assigned to them or not. So so when you've got somebody who it's not assigned to, they might be somebody who is simply not assigned to them, or they might not be in the class at all. It might be, mom or dad doing the student's work or their friend. Then you see a red indicator. So then that's a sign that it might not be allowed. But then if you're like, oh, something, that's okay, then you can just approve it, and then it's not red over here anymore. But yeah, this is super useful for group projects. When somebody says,
useful, yeah.
I did all the work, or somebody else says they did no work, then you can get a clue. Everything needs to be interpreted. You can't just assume that keystrokes mean one thing. Maybe everybody was working, but one person was doing the typing. You have to interpret, but still, it's useful, very useful information.
Yeah. Very,
So,
very useful.
yeah,
Because
and
it's
also
basically a visual presentation of, it's we can see in Google Docs, you can see the revision history.
yes, exactly. It's a visual representation of everything in the revision history.
Yeah, but it's basically
It's
showing us
it's
specifically
Eric's
what.
magic box.
Yeah, totally.
Yes,
So
very
here
nice.
is pasting also. It says 99% certainty that it's pasting because it's basically, it means that these characters appeared here. Now, there could be factors that would influence that, like maybe if there's a slow connection, then there's the typing buffer fills and the characters get thrown in all at the same time, even though it wasn't a paste. But the more characters there are, the more likely it is that it was actually pasting. So I put a percentage. It's unlikely that 977 characters were in the buffer. So, but sometimes you'll have a very small amount, and so it's 42%. We don't know. It's you never certain. I don't have 100%, but it's still, again, it's just information that you can work with.
Very nice. The more I know about classroom work, the more I want to use it.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
The thing is, it only works for Google account, right?
It works for Google Classroom. Yeah. So
Google
it's
Classroom.
it's assignments
It should
made
be.
through Google Classroom.
But
But
Yeah.
can
Google
you use
Classroom
a
is open for privates now, so
What's that again? Oh, that's true. That's true. I remember something though, like there's some kind of agreement that I had to make when I first set it up on my personal account, to the effect that I wasn't going to use it for classes. I'm not sure
classroom?
exactly.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yes,
are you
yes.
talking
Yeah.
about
What you're talking-
Google Classroom itself or
Google
Yes.
Classroom? Yes.
Google Classroom. Yeah, when I set it up on my personal account, there was some suggestion
There-
that I wasn't
Disclaimer?
supposed to use it. What's that?
a disclaimer by Google?
Yes, something
It's
like
sort
that.
of- You're
Go
like
ahead.
you're like agreeing not to use it for classes.
For
So
classroom.
I don't know what
why.
you would use it for.
That's why I don't use Classroom.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Well, I have an Edu account,
Yeah.
but my student doesn't have an Edu account. So
Oh,
how can
you
I?
have to be on the same domain.
Why do you have an Edu account and your students don't? Why don't you make an Edu account for them?
Okay, that's another thing for a state university, an issue.
Yeah, it's like some domains. You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Well, that's ridiculous.
It's
So-
it can cause problems. It can cause problems.
But I
Yeah.
mean it, Eric. I mean, education accounts are for students mainly.
Exactly,
The teachers
yeah.
are for sure. The teachers need an education account as well to manage all of it. But there are more students having education accounts than teachers in general.
Totally hear you. Yeah, yeah. If anybody, then they should be the ones. But different schools set up their domains differently.
And I mean, Eric, I know that you have the knowledge how to upload a CSV file with all the students' names and email addresses.
Sure.
So it takes
Yeah, it's more of a
less than
policy.
few hours.
Yeah, it's a policy decision. Like I was just talking to somebody, I don't know, within the last month, who can't use Google Classroom for exactly the same reason as Gary. Like his domain doesn't match the student's domain, and so he can't use it. And it's a policy decision that they there was some justification, something bad happened years before that related to the domain, and for some reason they just didn't want to have the same domain as the students, and that was just it. So yeah,
So many issues, Ralph.
yeah, everybody's got their different.
You're fortunate.
I'll say.
You can give.
Yeah, and Ralph
accounts
too.
to-
Ralph's fortunate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I was at schools where it was not nice, and yeah, sadly enough, it was also a school which had a big budget, or where there was money. But yeah, not at the current school. Everything is good there. So
Yay!
Very good. Good for you.
yeah.
Anyway, it's almost an hour since we started. So, yeah.
No more live comments. Everybody's in Christmas mode.
Yeah.
Should we
Anyway.
draw a Christmas? What about next week? Do you think we'll do it next week?
Yeah, there was some question about that. I mean,
Well, when I was inviting people to join us, Adam promised me to join during Christmas break,
okay.
during the break. So
I mean,
I don't
there's
know
no
if
harm.
you
I might be not at home, but
Let's see if we can
I,
get a minimum of 3 for next week, and we'll do it if we can.
hey,
Yeah.
I just enjoy seeing you guys, and
Yeah, it's nice chat.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
so if anybody has any questions for us, please write in the comments. Thank you very much. Share this video out to anybody who wants to get to know us, and
Mhm.
thank you for Seti the good comments. Everybody out there, if you are a teacher and you work with students submitting files, you have to give Eric's tool Classwork Zoom a try.
Yeah.
And Gary, don't get discouraged with the OECD study there. Just prove them wrong that in your classroom everything is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
make the Google Classroom private for them with your private account then. I don't know.
I have to reread the
The
policies.
agreement.
The
Yeah, have
agreement
to look
first.
that up. Yeah.
And a good quote in the end as a teacher, 1 foot is always in a prison cell. You're always halfway
Interesting.
in
Yeah.
danger
Yeah.
to make somebody angry.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So nice seeing you again, Eric and
Yeah.
Ralph. Hopefully we'll have another session next Thursday.
Thursday PD, every Thursday for you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Bye
very
for
much.
now.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.